Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Salamangreat Yugioh deck profile for post the May 2022 ban list. I could also say this is post Ghost from the Past, the second haunting, because we have the new Salamangreat Blaze Dragon along with the changes to our latest ban list. We got Salamangreat Mirage Stalio Unlimited along with Salamangreat Circle Unlimited. There are a bunch of other support cards for the deck, including Pot of Desires, which just helped with draw power with the deck as a whole. So a lot of changes for the Salamangreat deck as a whole. Very excited. Salamangreats are one of my favorite decks to use at locals and just overall in general. Probably my favorite Cyberse deck as well, just for its overall playstyle. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Salamangreat monsters, I am running 3 Salamangreat Foxy. This is your searcher of the deck, being able to add a Salamangreat card by adding one of the excavated top 3 cards to your deck when this card is normal summon. So it adds for consistency, and then just being able to go into your next Salamangreat play depending on what card you open up with the 3 cards. And when it's in your graveyard, you can discard a Salamangreat card, target a face-up spell or trap on the field, and destroy it with this card. And then being able to have that option for this card in the graveyard just adds for more playstyle and special summon off of it. Along with that, we're also still running the 3 Salamangreat Spinny. It's a discard card to boost the attack of a card on the field if you control a Salamangreat card, and being able to special summon from the graveyard if a Salamangreat monster other than Spinny is on the field for that special summon, but you banish it when it leaves the field. So it's great for the summon of your Mirage Stalio, one of the very important rank 3 monsters that we run in the deck, and also being able to make use of this card for its special summon, and as Exceeds material, you won't have to worry about it being banished, because then after you use it as a material, it'll still just go to the graveyard. For some of the lower numbers for the Salamangreat monsters, running 2 Salamangreat Jaguar. I have Jaguar at 2 to help with the summoning of your Salamangreat Blaze Dragon, which just needs 2 level 4 monsters to make it, and being able to use other cards like our Parallel Exceed in the deck just helps with this playstyle overall. And with it, you have a piercing monster against your opponent, but also an easy special summon that can also help recycle some of your other Salamangreat cards from the graveyard back into your deck. For the one-ofs for these Salamangreat monsters, I run 1 Salamangreat Gazelle. It's probably one of the best cards in the deck, and with Circle being at 3, making it that much easier to search out as well. And with it, when it's summoned, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send any of your spells that you may want to recycle with Sunlight Wolf, any of your monsters that you may want to special summon back onto the field, like Jaguar or Spinny. All this is available to us with the 1 Gazelle. We had Circle come to 3 on the latest ban list. Let's see if we can get a second Gazelle on the next one. I also run the 1 Salamangreat Foul for more shutdown of our opponent's cards and special summon when a Salamangreat monster is normal or special summoned to your field. Also 1 Falco for helping to recycle the spell and traps when it's sent to the graveyard back onto the field, and also being able to return a Salamangreat card to our hand and then special summon this card from our graveyard as well. But the biggest weakness of Falco is you can only use 1 of its effects per turn. If you could use both once per turn, it would be an insanely amazing card, but still very useful for that recycle special summon power. For some of the non-Salamangreat cards that I run in the deck, I run 3 Flame Buffalo. If this face-up card leaves the field, you can discard 1 Cyberse monster to draw 2 cards. It's great for that setup because you can go into your Banlist with this card and then go for the Chainlink 1 of your Flame Buffalo, Chainlink 2 of the Banlist, then searching off the field spell and then getting the discard and draw 2. Your opponent will have to either respond to the Banlist with the Ash Blossom they may have to stop that search, but then you'll still get the discard, draw 2 for the Flame Buffalo. And working off of more of the rank 4 plays with the deck, I run the 3 Parallel Exceed. If this card is special summoned by the effect of Parallel Exceed, its level becomes 4. If you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to a zone a link monster points to. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Parallel Exceed from your deck. So just going into your battle links and controlling the Parallel Exceed in your hand lets you just special summon it, and then giving you another one, meaning you have your 2 monsters to then overlay into your Salamangreat Blaze Dragon. Very useful. And I definitely also like it at 3 for that play, for just that easy special summon option. Even if you use the 2 for the resource, you could still have the 1 potentially for a late game addition to your field as an additional monster to use for a link summon. And then for our hand traps, I'm running 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and the 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. They really didn't hit much for the use of the Brave Engine, so just being able to stop search power with Ash Blossom and then the Brave Engine package with Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is why I like running all of these at 3, because you really only need kind of the 1 card combos for a lot of your Salamangreat plays, while the rest can just be the majority of the hand traps you can open up. And for the last of the monsters in the main deck as well, I run 2 Nibiru, the Primal Being. This is a player preference for this potential spot. This could also be DD Crow or Effect Veiler for your preference. Triple Tactics talent and also Forbidden Droplet can also be spots for this one here. This is just my preference for my own locals, but if you wanted to change this card up, it could be any of those options I already said. And that is it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. Very happy back at 3, and that is Salamangreat Circle. This card has 1 of 2 effects, being able to only activate 1 per turn. You add 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand, or target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster of the same name as material. That Link monster is unaffected by monster effects. You always mostly use it for the first search effect, and being a quick play spell, you can activate this card during the standby phase, getting around cards like Droll and Lockbird that would lock you out of your search plays, giving you that additional Gazelle setup that you can make use of with this card. I'm so happy that this card's at 3. It just helps so much with the consistency, and having this option means that I'll hit it more off of the Foxy search as well. Since it is a Salamangreat card, I'll see this card more often now because of it. Same with the search. I run 3 Will of the Salamangreat. I'm making full use of the Desire package in the deck as well. So 3 of this card, just for more consistency to see it. If there's a chance, I will banish it off of the Desires. At least I still have the 1 to make use of. You really only need 1 of this card to open up, and then have your special summon plays from your hand or graveyard to use. I also run the 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary. It's searchable off of Banlist, so once you get that search, then you can rely on the Desire search and not worry about banishing this card. The biggest weakness is when I see this card in my hand early on and can't make use of the Banlist search, but at least you then have that play to search into, giving you 1 less card to draw into. For more of the Cyberse search, I also run 3 Cynet Mining. This card can set up a Gazelle in your hand, and if you sent a Salamangreat from your hand as the cost by sending 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, if you add Gazelle to your hand, you can at least then special summon it, because once it resolves, you special summon Gazelle, since a Salamangreat was sent to the graveyard when you added this card to your hand, giving you the additional search and not a waste of your normal summon. For some of the other spells, 2 Desires. This card is great in the deck just for that draw power. That's a big weakness of the deck. If your opponent tries to shut down one of your plays, like your Cynet Mining or even your Gazelle setup, having at least 2 more draws mean that you can hit into a Spinny or at least 1 other card like a Will of the Salamangreat to then at least link off the Gazelle and then search out and special summon another monster on the field to at least give you a Sunlight Wolf play and then more to go through from then. And with 2 Desires, it's a big help there. I do run 43 cards in total in the deck, so with the Banish 10 and the potential that you will hit one of your Desires off of another Desire, at least you have the 2 to make use of for that play. Even if you do hit the 1, it's not that big of a deal, because you then have less targets of a potential hit card that you didn't want to see off the Banish for the Desires. And then for the last of the spells, just 1 Call by the Grave. Now this could even be Monster Reborn if you wish for this spot for more special summon power from the graveyard, but I really don't like it when I get hand trapped too often against my opponent, so having this as a 1-of option in the deck always pops up as well. With the rest of the cards for the main deck being the traps, starting off I'm running 1 Salamangreat Rage and 1 Roar. You can set these cards up in the graveyard with your Salamangreat Gazelle and then recycle them back onto the field with your Sunlight Wolf, so that's why I only run 1 copy of each of these cards, as long as I have like the Spinny play or the Jack Jaguar play to go into, and I don't need to set up another monster with Gazelle, and if I already have my Will of the Salamangreats, or at least a way to get a good number of monsters onto the field, these will be the targets I send most of the time to the graveyard with Gazelle. I also run for the rest of the traps and the main deck 3 Infinite Impermanence, just another great way if you are going second against your opponent, just a way to stop one of their monsters on the field, along with the additional hand traps you may have. If they use any of their spells, you can at least rely on your hand traps for those, and then the Infinite Impermanence for their monsters. Now, I don't run Change of Heart in the deck. I know the card just went to 1 on the ban list. That feels like more of a side deck card to me, because most of the time with this deck, I do want to go first against my opponent and set up a board with some of my traps on the field or any of my other back row and potential monsters on the field. And really, Change of Heart won't do much against my opponent in that setup play. It would definitely be an option to side deck against them, them if I end up winning game 1 and wanting to go second against them, so I can at least take their resources to use for myself. That is it for the main deck. Moving on now to the extra deck, I run 2 Salamangreat Blaze Dragon. This is the new Xyz monster from Ghosts from the Past. I'm testing it out to see how it works. It can make you recycle some other cards, including being able to use other Xyz monsters for Salamangreats from your extra deck by transferring the material of this card onto that summon monster. So you can even summon Salamangreat Blaze Dragon on top of this card and have a destruction play there, or you can even go into Mirage Stalio with the play, giving you a special summon off the Mirage Stalio search and another detachable search later on afterwards. But just 2 of this card, it's a search play I'm trying out. If you wanted to go for more of a generic play, you could try 1 Blaze Dragon and bump up the copy of your Mirage Stalio, but it's player preference at that point. I know this card's also at 3 now, but with it, I'm only running the 1 still just to test it out. But really mixing around your numbers with this card and the Mirage Stalio is also something that could pop up. My numbers with the extra deck were what I'm experimenting with the most, but for the Link monsters, I still run the 3 Salamangreat Battle Links. It's the search power for the field spell and also the protection of your Salamangreat cards on the field. Being the Salamangreat cards, you can banish this card from your graveyard and even protect cards like your field spell and your Will of the Salamangreat with it. Still running the 3 Sunlight Wolf as well. This is probably one of the most important Link monsters in the deck because it sets up all your recycle power, being able to recycle Ash Blossom back to your hand, but also being able to give you the search of a spell or trap Salamangreat card back to your hand from your graveyard. For the other Link 3 monsters, I run 1 Salamangreat Heat Leo. The one reason I'm trying out the 1 Heat Leo is because I also run the 1 Decode Talker Heat Soul. If I were to reduce the number of Blaze Dragon to 1, let's say, to work with the Mirage Stalio play, and then just keep the 1 additional one in the extra deck, I would put in a 2nd Heat Leo, but testing out the 1 Heat Soul to work with the Parallel Exceeds because it needs 2 Cyberse monsters with different attributes. So most of the time it'll be the Parallel Exceed that I summon out with the additional Sunlight Wolf and then go into Decode Talker Heat Soul, which then I can use the Heat Soul to then summon out potentially the Transcode Talker, which also goes well with the Update Jammer combo, and the Splash Mage, which is also another option with my fire monsters I run to get out the Decode Talker Heat Soul onto the field. And then lastly, for the boss monsters, just the 1 Access Code Talker. Once again, another combo with the Transcode Talker to easily get out, and then have the many different attributes to banish for its destruction play, and the big play to swing against my opponent with. And then as for some of the go-to combos in the deck, Circle at 3 just help with so much search consistency, being able to search out any of the needed Salamangreat cards, depending on what else you open up with in your hand. Having a Foxy to start off with and still having a Circle means you can rely on the Foxy Circle combo to then normal summon out your Foxy. Getting a potential search off of this card would just be a bonus depending on what you open up. If you open up a Will, that's an awesome one to go off of, but Spinny would be even better because with both of these, you have those searches. So you can potentially do the Salamangreat Circle search first to gain the Gazelle to your hand as well, because if you want to go for a Desires search, you don't want to banish your Gazelle, so searching and getting that card to your hand as fast as you can is definitely very, very important for that setup. You can then summon out your Foxy, go for the Link 1 into your Battle Links play, and then resolve the search, and then special summon out Gazelle, sending an additional card to your graveyard. If you don't have the Spinny already to discard, you can send that, or otherwise you will send one of your Salamangreat traps to the graveyard for that recycle, and then set up the Spinny play, summoning it out onto the field, giving you the overlay for the then summon of your Mirage Stalio, detaching for a Stalio to summon out your Jack Jaguar, and then with that additional play, you can then have your field spell search, which don't forget that as well, off of the Battle Links, activating it, going then for the Link 2 into your Sunlight Wolf, and then you can have the additional play to then use your Sanctuary to go into your next Sunlight Wolf on the field, which you can then use to recycle one of the traps you sent to the graveyard back to your hand, and with that you can set up that trap on the field, still having enough room for another play there. But also if you have the additional Parallel Exceed in your hand, if you go into the Sunlight Wolf, you could summon that card onto the field as well, giving you the 2nd Parallel Exceed to then overlay the 2 into your Salamangreat Blaze Dragon, having the Sunlight Wolf and the Mirage Stalio along with this card on your field for the extra protection, and your Salamangreat Roar or your Rage depending on what you wanted to use against your opponents. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I am very happy that this deck just got way more powerful with this May 2022 ban list, and I hope you all enjoy it as well. We have a May ban list along with the Ghost from the Past support, so we're still seeing a lot of love for Salamangreats, and hopefully we'll still see that in the near future to come. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.